Welcome to the Texas exhibit. Come on in. When these doors open, you're stepping into the Lone Star State. And right away, you might notice something about the map on the floor. It is gigantic. To see exactly how big the second largest state really is, imagine dropping puzzle pieces of other states inside its borders. You could easily fit New York, Ohio, and a few others inside without ever spilling over the edges. We call it the Lone Star State because for nearly 10 years before it joined the United States, Texas existed as its own independent republic. That single star on its flag serves as a reminder of that history. Because it covers so much land, Texas refuses to fit neatly into a single category. It is a massive, complex puzzle made up of different landscapes, people, and stories that all interlock to form the state. If we walk back through the timeline, we find that thousands of years before any European ships crossed the ocean, indigenous nations were already here. They built communities and deeply understood the forests, plains, and rivers. Over time, the flags flying over this land changed. Spanish explorers and Mexican communities built towns and weathered stone missions, like the Alamo, weaving their language and culture into the soil long before Texas became a U.S. state. That history also includes hard truths. The early economy relied heavily on huge cotton farms, which were built and maintained through the forced labor of enslaved people. But this land is also a place of liberation. In the coastal city of Galveston, enslaved people finally received the news of their freedom, an event we celebrate every summer as Juneteenth, with crowds gathering today to honor that milestone. When you listen closely, you hear that the story of Texas relies on many voices. It is a chorus of Indigenous, Tejano, African American, and immigrant families who built the state and continue to shape it today. Now, let's step into the landscape wing. Many people picture Texas as a dry desert, but look at the Gulf Coast. Here you'll find hundreds of miles of sandy beaches, barrier islands, and ocean wetlands full of life. Travel far enough west and the scenery completely flips. In the Trans-Pecos region, those wet coastlines are replaced by vast deserts and towering rocky canyon walls that scrape the sky. Animals here have to be tough and adaptable to survive in such extreme places. That's why the official state mammals include the armor-plated nine-banded armadillo and the famous wide-horned Texas longhorn. Because the environment changes so drastically from east to west, driving from one end of Texas to the other is like taking a road trip through several entirely different planets. Moving into the modern era, the state's path took a sharp turn over a century ago. When dark geysers of oil burst from the ground, it brought a sudden rush of wealth and workers to the region. That energy boom paid for steel and concrete. Small towns rapidly grew into massive, sprawling cities with dense skylines, making Texas one of the fastest-growing places in the country. That growth pushed right into the future. Inside rooms filled with glowing screens, engineers in Houston help guide NASA's astronauts through the stars, turning Texas into a global center for human spaceflight. Even with rockets and skyscrapers, Texans hold tightly to their natural roots. They proudly protect state symbols like the singing northern mockingbird, fields of bright bluebonnets, and the tall pecan tree. That balance is how Texas works today. It maintains a deep traditional respect for working the land while driving forward with cutting-edge science and technology. Before we finish our tour, we have to look at something wonderfully weird. If you stand under certain bridges at dusk, you can watch millions of bats pouring out into the sky. Texas actually has the largest urban bat colonies in the world. You can also taste the culture here. A true Texas morning might start with a warm pastry called a kolache, brought over by Czech immigrants, and end with a spicy bowl of chili. And you don't just have to look, you can join in. Try standing on one leg like a heron on the Gulf Coast, or practice swinging a lasso like a rodeo cowboy. The story of Texas continues far beyond these museum walls. It is a massive, living community that grows more diverse every single day, and there is always room here for one more friend.